I got no rules, I count 'em. I got no rules, I count 'em.
What is up, you guys? So since my meeting wifey video did so well, I was looking around for more video ideas, and my one that I'm filming today, I found an article by Cosmopolitan. Keep in mind, this article is recent. It came out in April 23rd of 2020, and it's 26 very important questions to ask on a first date. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to answer these questions one by one. So the first one, what's one thing you want to ask your significant other, but you are nervous to? Actually, this just happened yesterday. If you guys have watched Night at the Museum, there is a painting. Well, not a painting. It's the second movie. It's a photograph. It's the girl kissing the guy in World War II. Well, Night at the Museum has actually always been one of my favorite series. I absolutely loved watching it as a kid, and I recently just asked my significant other if he would be interested in recreating like a modernized version of that, because I have a vintage glamour photo shoot coming up that I invited him to. So we will see. He actually agreed to do it. I was really nervous to ask him, just because my last relationship, so the one where I was engaged, as mentioned in a different video, was not the healthiest. So I'm actually still learning to communicate in a healthy relationship. So that was one thing I wanted to ask him, but was nervous to. How important is taking space for yourself? Super, super important. So one thing that I've definitely learned in my 20 years on this earth, I know I'm still a fetus, but whatever, taking space for yourself is super, super important. Like, this is why, like, it's important for you to have your own things and your own hobbies. Like, yes, being together is nice, but you don't want it to get to the point where you're codependent. So I would say taking space for yourself is very, 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 very important. Why didn't your last relationship work? I really don't want to get into that. It was a very messy breakup. The police were involved. It was very, very difficult. But long story short, it actually worked because we weren't getting our own space and we were up each other's butt all the time. Not literally, but we were consistently in each other's zone, and he just kind of snapped. What is your love language? My love language is actually gifts. And it's not so much in the I'm materialistic sense, but I feel really loved knowing someone took time out of their day to think about me and get something for me that will make me happy, whether it be, you know, something small. That actually makes me really happy. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I see myself having graduated with my degree in biology / pre-medicine and a minor in theater. And I see myself hopefully pursuing a master's and doctorate in medicine and just continuing my education. I would like to go into genetic engineering and become an oncologist. How do you prefer to communicate? Text. Always texting. So as mentioned in a couple of my other videos, I really struggle with anxiety. In fact, a while ago, I was very, very agoraphobic. If you don't know what that means, it means I was terrified to leave the house. I have a very strong association with people dying when I leave the house. My grandmother passed away while I was at school, and I found out when I got home. My stepfather had a stroke whenever I was at school, and I found out when I got home. So I have a really deep history of associating leaving the house with something bad happening. So I struggled with agoraphobia. I got diagnosed beginning of college, and then so anything that doesn't require face-to-face, I will appreciate. Also, because of my neurological stuff, I actually can communicate much better if I'm typing with words than I can verbally. I actually don't really have an internal monologue. I'm one of those people, one, that has synesthesia, and two, that thinks almost in pictures. I don't really have the ability to verbalize how I think, but it's very different. So if I'm messaging someone, rather than calling or FaceTime or whatever, I really like Snapchat messaging, DMing, texting. That is my primary way of communicating. What did you do this weekend? So this weekend I actually got moved into my university. I completed training for my job, and I got my room all decorated. I have a roommate. If you guys have seen his video, he actually uploaded his vlog in Tennessee. His name is Elijah, and he and I actually live in the same suite. What is the best vacation you ever took? I'm not going to get too in-depth in this because I actually already went into this on my meeting wifey video. my original one, but it was NYC with my mom. If you suddenly won $1 billion, what would you do? First of all, I'd take half of it right off the bat and donate it and put it towards underprivileged areas, funding education, maybe try and get a budget for community policing, just so areas with less funding can still have the same level. I actually grew up in an area that was community policed. We had a police officer, he did the DARE program, everybody knew him. So I would like to get that normalized in a few other towns, especially those that didn't have the same privilege that I did. And then the other half of it, I would invest into a retirement plan, invest into stocks, and just keep putting money into it as I get older. And then I would just continue to live off of my paycheck. I would keep working, but just so I had money in case I needed it, I would save it. I know, I'm boring. I wouldn't do a whole big vacation. What's something you believed a year ago that you'd be a little embarrassed to admit right now? All right, so, well, this wasn't a year ago, but when I was a little kid, I was completely convinced that fairies created the world. Completely convinced. I love the idea of fairies. I love the idea of magic. It's always fascinated me. It's always been really something I believed in. And just was completely convinced. And I actually ended up believing that up until the age of 13. And telling people that as an adult, I'm like, yeah, that's a little weird. But that was just my childhood. What's your best friend like? So I have two best friends. They also collaborate with me on the channel. Their names are Snow and Elijah. Snow is Leah. Leah is just the epitome of Snow White, if you've ever seen the classic Disney film, which is why her nickname is Snow. She's super sweet, super lovey, super amazing. She's the nicest person I've ever met. Like, she is definitely the Hufflepuff to my Slytherin side. And then Elijah is like me. He's also very interested in media. He's very interested in style, and he and I like a lot of the same musicals. And he is also my sweet mate, as previously mentioned. What was my favorite part about growing up? I really like the ability to experiment with my style growing up. As mentioned in a different video, I actually believe in a monochromatic wardrobe. So I pick one or two colors, and then I will make my entire wardrobe those colors. So in early childhood, it was yellow. In middle primary school-ish range, it was purple. In high school and early college, it was black. And then now it is blue and pink. I'm not sure if you can tell. So I've got one closet dedicated to entirely pink clothes, one closet entirely dedicated to my blue clothes, and I'll grab from both closets and wear those. As a kid, I really enjoyed developing my own sense of style, figuring out what I liked. Also, as a kid, it was actually really difficult for me to find clothes because I've always been super, super tall. In fact, you can see the bunk bed for comparison, but I'm going to stand up really quickly just so you can get an idea of my height. So this is me standing next to a bunk bed, but I am actually 5'11". I am a giant human, and finding clothes was really a struggle for me. Finding clothes that look good on me was really a struggle for me because I have a super narrow waist, a wide bust, and wide hips. So I have a very prominent hourglass figure, so finding clothes was a mess, but actually that was what I really enjoyed as a kid, was just experimenting and figuring out what I liked. Did you ever have a pet? I've had multiple pets. My first pet, his name was Bartok. He was a pure-blood beagle, and I inherited him from my grandpa, and he was amazing. Absolutely loved him. He was the snarkiest dog I've ever met. He was a jerk. He hated my dad, which was like 99% of the appeal with this dog. He had such a personality, and he lived until, I had him as a baby. He lived until 2017 when I was 17 and passed away in February of 2017. My second pets, I got two dogs named Kahlua and Bailey. My dad adopted these two dogs with his wife at the time, who I refer to as the step monster. Not because she didn't want kids. She was very young. She wasn't ready to be a step parent. And she didn't realize what being a step parent entailed. She didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to me. I don't know how she is now as a parent. You know, maybe she's grown up. She's probably in her 30s now, but she was only 15 years older than me when she married my dad. So there was a huge age gap there. She was actually old enough to be my older sister. Lost my train of thought. But anyway, they adopted 2 dogs. Their names were Kahlua and Bailey. Bailey is Bailey Senko. His middle name is after number 91, Tarasenko, for the St. Louis Blues, because I actually spent my childhood in St. Louis. I do not live there anymore. I actually moved when I went to college. But Bailey is my dog with a food allergy. He looks like a professor with the blazer with elbow patches, because his elbows are actually completely bald, because certain foods will make his fur fall out and he'll scratch himself and he sheds really badly. And then I have a cat with dementia. Her name is Sangria Grace. She is the biggest floofball you have ever seen in your life. She is so precious, but she will not remember you. She will remember how she feels about you, so if you ever piss her off, she'll hold a grudge for, like, ever. But she's really not good. She's very antisocial. She doesn't like new people. She's a very angry cat. And then I also have 2 rodents, as you've seen in my earlier videos. Their names are Pegasus Stevens and Dante Macchiato, aka Mr. Mock. So those are my pets. And then I had one more pet that I had. My very first rodent I ever had, his name was Lumiere. We called him Lou. And he actually passed away in 2019, January of 2019. What's the last show you ever binged? I actually just recently re-binged the hit 2000s TV series How I Met Your Mother. I love that show. I think it's such a sweet show. It's got such a nice ending. I love the detail in it. I love the character development. And it's been one of my favorites for a long time. That's the last show I binged. So then one of the questions was, how do you feel about insert big thing here? I have no idea how to answer that. So, just going to skip that one. That was question number 15. So, on to 16. What is your sign? I am a Capricorn. I am barely a Capricorn. I am actually on the January side of Capricorn. Which, according to Zodiac, if you actually believe in it, means I'm a nerd. Which is consistent. What's a food you hate irrationally? Cherries. Don't know why. Hate them. Hate them. Will not eat them. For some reason, cherries trigger my gag reflex. I hate it. I had a stepdad. He was my very first stepfather. So the one before Alex, as mentioned in the Mean Wifey video, whose car always reeked of cherry chapstick, and I hated it. It was this old Saturn that was such a dark purple that it almost looked black unless it was in the sun. And it just reeked of cherry chapstick and cigarette smoke. And to this day, I still hate cherries. What's the last thing that made you laugh hysterically? So my mom was planning a party for my sister. She is going to college. Congratulations if you're watching this. And she was planning a dinner to send her off. And in the text it said, "Don't tell Hope, it's a surprise." And then a little ways in the text message, Hope actually responds with a question mark. And I'm like, I think she knows. Long story short, she actually accidentally got included for the group message for her own surprise party. Number 19 is another insert question here. Number 20, are you a morning or night person? My answer is neither. I am not a morning person. I am not a night person. I am an afternoon person. I like sitting in the sun drinking tea, and if it is, you know, if I'm at school, typically I'll wake up at 5 in the morning so I can be at the gym by 5:30, so I can help personal train 2 people, which I will explain in another video, but right now it's not relevant. And then when I'm actually at my job on the other side of the state, I actually typically work nights, so I'm actually sleeping until noon at that point because I'm not getting off work until 1 or 2. What is something you are dying to try? So I personally want to try. Have you ever seen those TikToks where it's the resin art and it's so beautiful and it's so sparkly? I would love to try that. Who'd you vote for? I actually haven't gotten to vote in a presidential election yet. I am only 20. I was 16 during the last presidential election, but I plan on voting this year, and I plan on voting for Biden. What did you do all day? So actually, it's fairly early in the morning when I'm filming this, so all I've done today is eat breakfast, wake up, get ready to start the day, get dressed, whatnot. So that's all I've done today, and then I'm filming, obviously. What's the last good thing you read? So the last thing I actually read is the Dear Evan Hansen novel. I have it over there. Absolutely love the novel for Dear Evan Hansen. I really wish the musical had been closer to the books, but that was actually the last thing that I've read, and I loved it. Do you like your job? I love my job. My job is amazing, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm actually a workaholic, so I spend a lot of my time at my job, and it's perfect. How often do you visit home? Not often, actually. So I'm actually on the opposite side of the state from where I grew up, from where my family lives. So it's a solid 3-hour drive. So I don't visit them very often. However, if there's an emergency or something, I will make the drive out there because it's not unfeasible. But my car just destroys gas. I drive an SUV. So it's expensive to make the drive out there. And that was question number 26. So, we're going to scroll to one more article, which is 10 perfect questions to ask on the first date to really get to know someone from One Love. So we're going to scroll through these real fast. What makes you unique? I think my story is what makes me really unique. So I grew up with divorced parents. On one side of my family is the Genius family. My mom runs her own charity. On the other side is the Aylshire. And I have a lot of history and a lot of stories. I've been ziplining, I've modeled, I've acted in plays, I've performed, I've danced, I've done pretty much everything, and I think my story is a huge part of what makes me unique. What are some random fun facts about you? So I have heterochromia. So the inside of my eyes is like this amber gold color, the outside is this grayish green blue color, and if you look really closely at my eyes, it actually looks like sunflowers, which you can see on my TikTok, which I will have my username at the very end of the video, like always. Another fun fact about me is a lot of people ask me questions about my real name, and they're like, Lyric, is that your name? Like, or is that a nickname? My real name is Lyric. My sister's names are Hope and Merit. My mom actually specifically picked names that were words with the three of us. And so, yes, Lyric is my real name. So, yes. Would you rather? Number 4. There's nothing after that, so I can't really answer. We're going to skip to number 6, just because number 5 is very vague. Number 6, what's something that bugs you? Something that really, 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 really grinds my gears is when people assume that I am dumb because 1, I am neurodivergent, and 2, I don't dress the way most people dress. So actually, when I was goth, people did this a lot. Now that I'm more into pastels, people still do it. But people assume I'm dumb just because of my aesthetic, and it's just very frustrating to me to go through that. What's the most embarrassing thing you can remember that's happened to you? My most embarrassing thing is also on my TikTok, actually. My high school graduation, my senior superlative was most likely to fall at graduation, and I was walking to get my diploma, got up the stage, walked across, grabbed my diploma, was walking down the stage, was so proud of myself for not falling, and at that exact moment, my heel snapped. So I completely destroyed a pair of $40 high heels, and I fell down the stairs, and then I got home, and my dad was like, yeah, I posted that on Facebook. It's gotten a lot of views. That video is still online, so if you want to check it out, have fun. But that is the most embarrassing thing. What's your favorite place on earth? The gym. I love working out. I'm actually a cardio fanatic. Love the gym. Love everything about it. It's my mental health place. It's my safe space. My favorite spot in the world is the gym. Who are the special people in your life? As previously mentioned, I have a boyfriend And then my two best friends, those are my special people. They're who I talk to on a daily basis, and they really help keep me grounded. What is something you're proud of? I am very, very proud of how far I've come with my mental health. I actually make it a point to leave my room about once a day. I've come very far with my diagnoses and making progress and just being me and being more comfortable with who I am. When I was a kid, I really tried hard to fit in, and I just never did, and I didn't understand why it wasn't working for me. So I'm very proud of how much more confident I am in myself. I'm also very proud of my weight loss. I'm going to flash a picture up, but the picture of me in black is of me in November and of 2019, by the way. And then the other picture I'm flashing up is actually from a few days ago, which is August of 2020. And that is my last question for this article. So if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe. I will be doing more videos soon. I have a bunch more being uploaded. So yeah, bye!